Hello, my name is Hannah, and this is my presentation on analyzation of mass media and pop culture using a National Geographic magazine that was published in July of 2016 and comparing it to the sociological concepts from Ferris and Stein. So our first ad features Dr. Karen Liu, who is a physician and researcher within the cancer area. This advertisement appeals to those who are proactive and prevention-minded about their health, as well as those who trust in science and medicine. And those two kind of go hand in hand. And Dr. Karen Liu helps to connect with these readers because she is trusted within her field, and that's why it has that appeal to that specific audience. Our sociological aspect behind this is that it shows women in science, suggesting the progression towards gender equality in professional settings. As Dr. Liu's case, it is within medicine and doctoring. It can also highlight the responsibility for individual health, right? So it frames prevention of, in this case, cancer or any type of disease as a personal moral duty as opposed to a structural issue. So moving forward on to our second advertisement, we see that it's a Capital One Ventura card. Here, our audience appeal emphasizes freedom, status, and even convenience. We can see that it links wealth and mobility, suggesting financial tools can buy freedom with identity. With the sociological aspect, we see gender aspiration. We see this through the woman standing next to the advertised Ventura card. She's dressed in professional attire, and she's supposed to represent the ideal of being stylish and independent, as well as being successful through consumption, right? So that's the point of credit cards, is to just be able to spend without financial burden. I think that's a good way of being able to see it, right? Like, we can buy freedom with this identity as related to the appeal of it towards the audience. We also see social stratification, right? So only those with credit access can have leisure and enjoy these type of privileges, right? So as I said, it provides the freedom and suggests wealth and mobility, as well as the status, right? Alright, so moving on to our third advertisement of cognitive behavioral therapy. Our audience appeal targets self-improvement, similarly to the first one, right? But this one's self-improvement versus self-awareness of health. So self-improvement mindset individuals who not only value mental health, but the learning and personal growth with it. It also positions a private purchasable good, right? So this is advertising a book that we as consumers can read on our own to be able to learn to conquer our bad habits and thoughts. Our sociological attraction is individualism, right? So mental health here is framed as a personal issue, again, another personal issue, and not just a systemic issue. Socialization also encourages readers to internalize self-discipline with the improvement in moral virtues, right? So staying disciplined and being aware of their mental health and making sure that they're using this as a type of therapy. So our fourth advertisement is traveling expeditions, right? So we see this National Geographic ad that's within the National Geographic magazine promoting its expeditions that it has, right? So our audience appeal here is the core audience, right? It's its own ad. It's educated professionals seeking authenticity and promising exclusivity and depth, right? So it's not just providing information about what they do, but promising to their consumers the experience and everything that comes with it. So our sociological meaning within this ad is cultural capital, right? So it shows class privilege. And why it does is because things like traveling cost. It requires wealth and freedom. It requires that leisure time to be able to travel and go to places, which not many people have the opportunity as well as access to, right? So this is definitely like very much audience appeal to those with wealth, um, as well as the access to it. So um, somebody with in middle to high class would be particularly this audience. We also see that traveling with a specific company can create status and identity symbols, right? So, for example, not just with traveling with National Geographic and it creating high status, because National Geographic is a um, well-known company, but for example, we could use like Disney, right? Like somebody who goes on a lot of cruises or visits Disney, whether that be like Disneyland or Disney in Florida or even traveling to other places, it can create a status and identity symbol from outside perspectives and kind of like going back to the fact that it requires money and it requires wealth, right? So you would view somebody who travels a lot, you would consider them to have a lot of free time and money because those things, traveling takes up a lot of those things. Our fifth and final ad is Geico, and we can see that it features a sea turtle. And it opens with a question. Did you know a group of sea turtles is called a bale? Which helps to provide the appeal to this ad, right? So the attraction uses its humor and imagery, especially the turtle, right? Um, which helps to connect with those who are animal lovers or nature lovers, right? So it's connecting to that aspect as well as loyalty subscribers, right? So in this ad, we can see that it's showing if you are a subscriber or a consumer of Geico, you have benefits, right? So it's trying to draw you in with that. So our sociological, which kind of connects to our sociological aspect, right? So it encourages group identity through social grouping, right? Again, going back to those loyalty subscribers, right? That's the social grouping of this ad and how it encourages them because of the benefits that they obtain when they are a customer of Geico. It also reflects identity marketing, which turns cultural affiliation into marketable segments. So again, like I said, turning like appealing to those nature lovers and those loyalty members, right? Which helps to draw them in and creates a very sociological effect. Right, so overall, the sociological concepts that were used were socialization, social stratification, social construct exemplified through the gender of females specifically, consumerism and commodification, and as well as culture. Right, so how each one was specifically used was socialization. It teaches readers to prioritize expertise as well as self-improvement, right? So a lot of these ads had self-improvement or self-awareness as well as the expertise level to them, right? Like Dr. Lou's, right? The social stratification, it targets the upper middle class, right? So as we expressed with traveling and having the money to take care of yourself health-wise, all of these things require money. Social construct, again, we did see a lot of women throughout these ads, like women in STEM, women standing next to the credit card showing her status and elegance, showing professionalism as well, which also helps to give empowerment, especially for women, and showing that they could also do it, that if Dr. Liu became a researcher and an expert in the world of cancer and medicine, that other women can do it too. Consumerism, we turn a purchasable experience into identity, right? So things like we said with traveling, even marketing, for example, like I said with Disneyland, right? Disneyland cruises, all of those things of experiences that are purchasable turn into identity. Culture as well, they all reflect a culture of curiosity, intellect, and adventure of some sort, right? Um, Definitely, as well as status and wealth. That's the type of culture that we could also see throughout all 5 of these ads. All right, so how can we interpret all of this? Right, well, the National Geographic magazine definitely shapes and sells culture. That is a big theme that we can see throughout this entirety of the magazine ads, and just in general, it's a big sociological concept, as well as the issues advertisements within the magazine illustrate how modern media merge with moral values with marketable logic. And that is the end of my presentation. These are just the references that I use for every single slide. But thank you for joining and listening.